Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. I personally really enjoyed the Thanksgiving game again. I thought the crowd was much better than last year, and it was a loud crowd and a fun crowd. And I enjoyed Texas playing on Thanksgiving so much because it is special that there were only 2 college games that were highlighted that night, with Ole Miss and Mississippi State as well. And it gives our players an opportunity to go home and spend Friday and Saturday at home and come back fresh and ready to go on Sunday. But it also gives them a Thanksgiving. And the guys that play on Friday and Saturday have less time to spend at home with their family. So it's worked for us. And I was proud of our guys that they played so hard and they played well and played physical, and it just worked out well. And then you start looking at this weekend when people that have talked about whether we should have a championship game or not. We actually have 2 in the Big 12. And you've got one with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State from at 11 o'clock, and then ours at 2:30. So the Big 12 will be highlighted this weekend, and will come out with a champion just like everybody else. So it definitely highlights some of our best teams this weekend, and that's fun. Steve Edmond lacerated his liver, and he is okay. He did not have an operation. He was released and went home this weekend. He was in our team meeting yesterday. We said he would be out for the rest of the season. He will also miss the bowl game, but he will be back for spring practice and will be able to play again. Kendall Thompson had symptoms of a concussion, and he was taken out of the ball game. He is day-to-day. They are looking at him. And DeJay Johnson will return from his suspension and be ready to play this weekend. Fun game this weekend with Baylor. They've done a tremendous job. Art's got a great football team. It's a team that's in the top 10. It's a team that's playing before probably their largest crowd in the history of Floyd Casey Stadium. It'll be the last game there. It's for a championship. So it's a great challenge for us and our team. They're much improved on defense. Got a lot of seniors that Phil Bennett kind of grew up with through the last couple of years, and they're very aggressive and they know what to do, and their offense is one of the best around. So got our hands full. Be a great challenge for us. I'm proud of our guys that they fought themselves back into a position to play for the Big 12 championship, and we'll have a great week and be prepared for the game on Saturday. Questions?
Mack, when that pre-conference ended, and you obviously had the conference to look forward to, and that's an obvious goal, but with what happened in those last 2 games, are you even a little surprised you put yourself in this position to win a championship?
I'm not, because I thought we would be really good before the season started, and then the 2 weeks were just a collapse for us. And then, as we said, we were excited about starting over and challenged by it, but this is a good football team. It's got a lot of older players on it that are smart and tough and have tremendous pride, and they'd been fighting to get to this year for the last 2 years. And it didn't surprise me at all when I sat and talked to them about, after Ole Miss, in the team meeting, all right, let's start over. You got your defensive coach here. He's in place. He's been here 3 practices now. We got a little break here. We got to get ready for Kansas State. No excuses. We're starting over. And they were all locked in and felt that way. And that's the way they've approached it since that time. And I think they're pleased with where they are, and I know Texas fans and the staff, and I want to thank them for working so hard to hold it together and keep their composure and overcome all the adversity they have, because it's a great message for all of us that these young people could do that. And so much fun that in the last week of the season, we are one of the few teams that will still play for the conference championship.
Mack, I know you guys won't make excuses for it, but have you ever been bitten by the injury bug this badly at a position as you have at linebacker, and how do you move forward and deal with it?
No, we really haven't been bitten by the injury bug at a certain position like this, even though running backs a couple of years ago, we go to Missouri and we don't have Malcolm, we don't have Joe, and Fozzie gets hurt the 3rd play of the game. So I guess we have had. But I don't think anybody can explain injuries. It's part of our game. I think it's something we've got to look at across the country. It seems to be that there are more this year across the country in listening to people and talking to some of the announcers who study that than in the past. So I don't know. I think it's something we all have to look at. But this team has just said no excuses, no regrets, next man up, and that just means that Peter Jenkins is going to have to step up. Hopefully Kendall will be back. Tim Cole's got to step up. Aaron Benson's got to step up. So some guys that haven't had opportunities will have their opportunity Saturday against a good team. So, but they're all on scholarship, and I do think it's a real credit to this staff that they've recruited so well through the last 3 years that we can handle all of the injuries and still move forward.
Mack, will you try to, with the Oklahoma State game being played before yours, will you try to keep them away from the results of that, or do you just ignore it? How do you handle that?
I thought a lot about that, and we announced in the dressing room in 2001 before we went out to play Colorado that we win this game, we're playing Miami for the national championship, and we didn't handle it well. So what we told our guys yesterday is if you win the game on Saturday, you will be Big 12 champs. You'll either share it or it'll be yours. So really and truly, the game before us is something that is out of our control. Let's worry about how we play. We talked too much about, as a team, we talked about the championship run with Oklahoma State week. We didn't play well. We're going to talk about us playing well. We're going to talk about the preparation. We're going to talk about practice. We're going to talk about the things we do. And I said, you're going to get asked about the Big 12 championship today, but I don't want it mentioned after today. Let's go back to work, and let's make sure that we do our best to prepare to beat Baylor on Saturday.
You've been in this position to win championships plenty of times before, but it's been a while. Is it nice to kind of have those nerves or whatever comes with such a big game again?
It is. I think you would say anxious would be fitting, because it's fun to be playing for something this time of the year, and very few are. Most of the seasons are over, and for our guys to have started like we did and come back and be in this position is really fun.
How much can you take from what Oklahoma State did to Baylor's offense? And is there a blueprint now, or is it something that, it was one night and their offense is still?
If you go back and look at Baylor's season, they've only had 3 games that would be relatively close, and that's Oklahoma State, TCU, and Kansas State. And you go back and study those, all 3 were on the road. So they haven't played as well on the road as they have at home. So they've played really, really well at home. What we've got to do is, we went in there 2 years ago when RG3 was a senior, and we had 6 turnovers. And we gave ourselves no chance to win. So we got to protect the ball better. But Baylor's Baylor. There's Lake Seastrunk's as good as any running back in the country, and they've got about 4 really good running backs. Petty has been involved in the Heisman race all year. They've got tremendous speed outside. Where they're better on offense is their offensive line is really good. People don't give them credit, but they rushed for 250 yards against us last year. Defensively, Phil Bennett's done a great job, and they have an older defense. They got guys that know what to do, and they're very aggressive, and they'll come up and get in your face and play aggressive man coverage, and that's something they couldn't do 2 years ago.
When you have a guy like Case that had the game he had 2 years ago and he gets that kind of a redemption shot, is that, how do you talk to him about that? How does he handle it?
Case is in a much different position with his experience than he was when we played in this game over 2 years ago, really. And he was not even really the starter. He was we were going back and forth with he and David, so he was a part-time starter. And he did some really good things in the game as you go back and look at it. Just the turnovers were the things that gave us no chance to win. And he's improved in so many areas, but that's the number one area that he's improved in, is taking better care of the football. And he made some plays with his feet Saturday night. He rushed twice and got some yards, won a huge first down for us down around the goal line. And I think that's something he'll probably need to do Saturday. He's going to have to make some plays with his feet because Petty will for them. And this is throw it all out there ball game. You don't hold anything back for Saturday.
Mack, they're closing their stadium. They got a chance to win against Texas. I know the start's always important, but maybe even more so because of the emotion that's going to be out there.
I think so, but again, it's 60 minutes. It's a long game, and Tech jumped out on them, and they came right back and scored 64 points against them. So I think that we need to start better on offense, and we discussed that. The last 3 weeks I don't think we've made a first down the first drive of the game, and you'd like to get something going. And then Major and Darrell and the offensive staff have done a really good job of finding out where they are and picking it up and moving forward. But I would like for us to get a better start.
How much confidence is this team playing with after that performance against Tech, with the defense dominating the running game and passing game was all there?
They're playing with a lot of confidence. We obviously missed an opportunity against Oklahoma State, and they didn't like it. They wanted to put themselves back in a position to play for the championship this weekend, and they've done that. So Baylor has got their attention. In the early years, we had to find ways to get their attention for Baylor, and that's not the case anymore. Baylor's a top 10 team, and they have been all year. They're a team that's been talked about for the BCS. They're still in the obviously, if they beat us, they're still in the BCS mix. So they're challenged by what they see with Baylor, but they're really looking forward to the opportunity to go play. And our guys, they love the full stadium. We have more trouble when there's nobody there if you're on the road, but they'll like all this. They like the drama of the stadium and the last game, and that's kind of who we are. So that'll be fun for us to be in that environment.
Mack, over the years, what cases when you guys play, there's pretty much covered in orange. Do you have to urge fans even a little more this year because Baylor is really good now that you expect them to bring a lot of fans, and maybe this might be a little different this year?
Yeah, I think they probably couldn't get as many tickets. It'll be interesting to see. We've had 25,000, 30,000 fans there, and Baylor's crowd is coming, so they've done a good job of getting their own crowd. So I'd say we'll have our normal great Texas support, but it'll probably be less than it has been in the future just because Baylor's selling more tickets.
Mac, people think of Baylor, they think about them throwing it all over, but obviously they can run the ball really well. How important is it to try to slow down that running game?
It's very important. If you let them be two-dimensional, you got no chance to win. And they're very, very good at both, but you've got to slow something down to have a chance to win. And our deal has always been if you can slow the running game down, make them a little bit more one-dimensional, get pressure on the passer, then you have your best chance to win.
What do they do with the running game that's so effective maybe compared to some of the other throwing teams that don't run it quite as well?
They do a great job of spreading people out so far with speed that you've got to spread out with them. And then their offensive line is much better than they get credit for. And they've got backs as good as anybody. I think Lake Seastrunk's a guy that's been talked about for the Heisman. I mean, he may be up for it next year because he can run inside with power, but he's got the speed to score every time he touches it. So they spread you out, keep you thin with numbers inside, or if you try to stack the box, you got to cover a really fast guy one-on-one, and Petty's been very accurate.
Mike, it's always interesting with non-conference because you can kind of control who you play, where you play. If you play 3 games at home, teams as you talk about were just better than, do you maybe not get exposed and maybe you're not ready to make a run for a championship than what you went through?
I don't know, Roger. I think with obviously with Steve Patterson coming in, excuse me, DeLoss had a philosophy for out-of-conference schedule, and it was play a team that you should beat, play a team that's really good, and then play a great team. And that's what he has always felt like since I got here, and it got off track a little bit when Arkansas and Texas didn't play there for a year, and then we went to 12 games, and that changed the schedule a little bit. But I think everybody in college football is going to have to look very closely at the new college football playoff and see who you are going to have to schedule out of conference if you have a chance to be in the BCS or in the 4-game playoff. Right now, it doesn't matter. They don't care. As long as you win, you will be in the mix if you're in a BCS conference. And who you've played does not matter until the end. Now, it may matter here at the end with a couple that are 1, 2, or 3, but by and large, it hasn't been an issue. So I think it'll be very interesting to see if the college football playoff group, that committee, has a very strong component of strength of schedule in there. And if they don't, then it may change scheduling across the country because all of us next year are going to want to be in that top 4 to play for the national championship. And I guess it'd be fun for fans now to look at who would the top 4 be today, because I think Urban said it the other day, when you get to the top 4, they're going to be griping about who the 5th one was. So it's just going to extend the controversy a little bit, but at least it gives more teams a chance to play, and maybe one loss will not keep you from being in that mix, and that could possibly happen. If we were at that point this year, there would be 2 one-loss teams today that would be in that top 4, it seems.
I guess what I was saying, but did those games get you ready for the Big 12 this year because you saw some of the deficiencies maybe you had, as opposed to 3 games you roll over and then you get smacked in the face in the conference game and maybe you're not in the position?
Yeah, it did. I'd rather have won them. I found too many deficiencies too fast, so we got overloaded with deficiencies there. But maybe that did help us get back here. Hang in there, Anthony. Yes, both guys did a great job. Our offensive line probably hasn't gotten the credit they deserve because they've been very physical, and we've run the ball pretty well every week. And coming into the year, one of the big concerns was that we had not run the ball as well against really good defenses. We had run it against defenses that everybody was running against. And this year, we've been able to run it pretty well each week, and that'll be a challenge again this weekend.